Long now has mankind looked up to the skies and wondered if we are alone in this universe. Many miraculous things have been spotted all over the world, reported by our militaries, and sparked great debates amongst ourselves. I am here to tell you that, ladies and gentlemen, people of Earth, brothers and sisters of all races, all countries, that we are not alone. We have never been alone. That some higher power has seeked to spread the gift of life throughout the universe and beyond all comprehension. It is in these times we must learn to love one another. We must not share hate, but joy. We must not inhibit, but we must grow. These beings are our friends. They are our family. They want to help us become better, to see the true potential of mankind. And for maybe one day, we will join them in their voyage to help other beings from other star systems. As shocking as this news may be, it is nothing new. Our governments of the world have known for quite some time that we are not alone in this universe, and we have had contact for many of years, slowly preparing the American public and the publics of the world for such a revelation. We are not alone, and we are about to embark on the greatest journey mankind has ever experienced. Ladies and gentlemen, we have contact.
That was brilliant. You know, I love that trailer, Dakota. And I must say this too, you've got your new background there. See, just before that trailer ended, you had the stars, and you've got the exact same stars behind you. Ironic, that, isn't it?
Yes, that was not done intentionally, but yeah.
But honestly, it looks amazing. I would just like to say to everybody in the chat, we're going to give it a couple of minutes before it fills up. The Broken, the Specialist of the Sounds, I wonder who he could be. Bald and Bonkers, you know, Night and Drew's paranormal vlog. There you go. Give you a
What, we didn't block her again? Wait.
I know. Oh, that's aliens. Blame the aliens, you know. But guys, yous are in for a treat tonight. And we've got some announcements, but we're keeping them for more the end of the show, you know. Just a wee teaser there. So, Dakota, what have you got to be talking about tonight? What madness have we got?
You know, there seems to be a lot of discussion about how to contact, contact, yes, but no. Contact with extraterrestrials, that's been a huge thing over the years. And why not talk about a specific hotspot, at least here in the U.S., that it seems that a lot of attention is getting centered towards? Mount Shasta.
That place is, oh my God, there have been so many documentaries about that place, man. I mean, it's been on Coast to Coast AM. It's been on Darkness Radio, it's been everywhere. I mean, it's been on the History Channel, the Discovery Channel. It's a mystical place. I mean, the stories about that place are phenomenal, about doorways to underworld cities. It just, you name it. Bigfoot sightings, it's off the scale.
And it's one of those things, a lot of people could probably argue that Mount Shasta can turn into the new Skinwalker Ranch, where all of a sudden all the attention gets centered towards it, the activity dies off. No, the activity's still fairly recent, with a lot of people claiming that they've been inside the alleged City of Light that's underneath the mountain.
That's right. I mean, I didn't watch it. I listened to it. It was on Coast to Coast AM, and they were actually talking about this UFO expert on the UFOs that have been sighted over that mountain is ridiculous.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's black triangles. You've got all the cigar-shaped ones, UFOs. I mean, it's a hot spot. I mean, people actually go there at night, you're probably guaranteed to see something every night. It's not that day. I was reading something last night on it, and it was about Bigfoot and how he's been actually. There's the sightings of Bigfoot round about Mount Shasta is more than anywhere else in the United States, which is strange because then it makes you wonder: are they the ones that's flying the ships? Are they the ones that stay in there? Because Bigfoot's meant to be an interdimensional being that lives. Because let's face it, no one's ever managed to capture one.
Well,
you know?
Before we start going too much into the Bigfoot is an alien thing, we do have to consider there are animals who have fur that has evolved to bend light in a certain way to make it look like they've disappeared in the mountains, in the whatever regions they happen to be in.
I'm not saying that Bigfoot. I mean, my opinion in Bigfoot is that I've never really seen any really good evidence. Yes, there's evidence there of Bigfoot, right? But I think there's different. We'll maybe do a show on this one night. We'll actually get an expert on, guys, about Bigfoot, because I think there's different. Mike, the Naked Bigfoot, he comes on here and he was actually telling us that there's different breeds of Bigfoot. So intelligent ones and cannibalistic ones. You know, I mean, there's ones that don't use technology and they live in grass huts and stuff like that, and they try and stay out of humans' touch. And then there's the ones that are technologically advanced and they're from a different realm. But anyway, there's Chess King 69. Welcome. And there's Drew's Paranormal. Hello there, Drew. We're just talking about you, Drew. No, I'm only kidding. I had to say that, you know. I had to say that, you know. Just wind up. Please, everybody, could you share this out, because we've got some amazing announcements at the end of the show. Well, near the end of the show. Plus, we've got a new show starting, guys. We've got a new show starting on Friday called The Lost Magics, with none other than Drew's Paranormal Vlog. She is one of the hosts, along with Sherry, Paranormal World Investigators. There you go.
Yep, the Bald and Bonkers crew is growing much more rapidly than any of us actually ever expected.
What's that there? Chess King. I think there's too much credibility regardless of Bigfoot. Genesis 14. There was against before. What's that?
Giants.
The US and Giants, US and they're after us. Yeah.
Well, yeah, but Giants is another real controversial term, because a lot of people try to outright assume that there was 100-foot beings, several 100-foot beings that walk in the earth. They were humanoid. This is one of the things that I'm skeptical about, and maybe they were talking about Sasquatch-like beings, because they are very humanoid, and some reports even indicate that they can fully speak human language. They can fully comprehend it. You are essentially dealing with what's a 7-foot-tall, very intelligent gorilla. So if you piss them off, they will kill you. But you also got to consider how much of these claims of giants were just legitimately tall people that story got a little exaggerated.
See, they could say the same, right? We'll take giants here, and then we'll put them against another type of people, right? Let's go to the Inca, right? The Inca. They tame their newborn babies, and they wrapped their skulls in basically cloth and made their skulls elongated. You know what I'm talking about here, Dakota, don't you? Now, why did they do that? They said because they were copying the gods, right? The gods were the aliens with pointy heads, right? And they wanted to make their children like the gods. Maybe they thought, maybe if I make my kid like them, they'll be intelligent like them. You know, and then we get the giants. I mean, I've seen some pictures on the internet, guys. I mean, there is a lot of photoshopping gets done. I mean, skulls the size of a small house, you know. But yes, there was giants. You look at the humans. Look at that actor that was in James Bond. He was. What's his name? You know what I'm talking about? Jaws. You know who I'm talking about? He played Jaws in James Bond. There's people like him over the years that have actually. They are classed as giants. So is this some type of genetic makeup? It's maybe related to Bigfoot.
Possibly. There's even been reports, I believe it would be out of present-day Russia, where there have been some reports of young ladies being taken off by big ape-like creatures and being impregnated by them.
Yes.
And some of their descendants are still around today.
Well, there's a question there, Dakota, right? And I don't know if you'll be able to answer this one better than me. I mean, I've heard of them in the UK too. What's your thoughts on it?
Oh, they're everywhere. Yeah. Australia, Russia, Africa, that's one of those things that you have to consider. Every location on Earth, you could probably even get some out of Antarctica if there's anybody there to go deep enough.
No.
Yeah, take a jacket.
It's actually quite interesting because the ones in Australia are different, Bigfoot. Because what I've learned for the Australian ones, they've got red eyes. I mean, the Aborigines speak about them. They're famous. I mean, you've got to remember, Australia is one of the most oldest continents in the entire planet, right? The Aborigines, they think, are the oldest tribe.
Are among the oldest, and a lot of the people who have Aborigine descendants, they actually have humanoid DNA that we don't know where it came from, actually.
See, that's the thing. I mean, there's stories with the Aboriginals that they would tell about ships coming down from the stars, and they would actually draw it into their caves. And it's to think. I wished I had a time machine. I really do, because I would love to go back. People would say, "Would you like to go into the future?" I would like to see the future and see what it looks like, but I would rather go back in time and see what happened to cause all these stories. But let's go back to Mount Shasta. Dakota, what have you got for us on that?
Well, for those who somehow live under a rock and don't know the story, like we were saying before, Mount Shasta is a hotbed of UFO activity. There's people that go to hike there that report, there's electronics malfunctioning, there's weird lights in the sky. We were talking about the other night, there are actually events, conferences, where you can pay tickets to basically camp out near Mount Shasta to try to watch, see if you can see any UFOs coming down.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it has been coming up a lot in our research lately, and there's quite a bit piling up that suggests, now, allegedly, but we'll use that term just because this is a rather exotic claim, that something big's about to go down there within the next 5 years. Be generous.
Oh yeah. I think something with all the UFO reports and with all the other CE5 things, I think something is going to happen. I think something's going to be witnessed for the first time in a long time, in thousands of years. You know that? And it's not just me that's saying this, guys. It's UFO, the UFO community. There is something going on with that mountain. I mean, it's not just that. You ever heard of Missing 411, David Paulides? People have disappeared around that mountain. Just disappeared. I mean, some people say, they've wandered off and got lost in the woods and they've died and never. No. There was I can't remember when it was, but there was people walking Mount Shasta, and it was like a kind of wee ravine way, so you couldn't go left or right, but you could just walk right. There was people in front, there's people behind, and the person in the middle just disappeared. I mean, how is that possible? I mean, unless they found the doorway, unless something happened. It's strange, isn't it? It really is strange. What's this in the chat? I think King Kong was based on Bigfoot. It probably was.
Yeah, you never know.
It probably was. And there's Drew's paranormal log. I'm back. I had to go to the dog setup. You left us. That's terrible.
Of course.
So what else is new about the mountain?
So, well, being that it does seem like it's a spot that may need a physical investigation to look into, we have actually been mapping out stories to look for common markers. Now, a lot of the witnesses' testimonies that we've been able to come across, they fully admit that what they're talking sounds absolutely crazy.
Yeah.
They fully admit it. They know it does, but they're just trying to tell a story. They're not a lot of them are looking to actually gain any benefit from it, which certainly makes you wonder. It's like, okay, are they just telling a story to BS with people, or is something going on? And there's actually a center that's focused at the base of Mount Shasta that centered a lot around the lore of the location. And it's said that on the inside there's a lot of murals of drawings from things they've seen in the City of Light that a lot of people who have never really met before, they're drawing very similar things. Obviously, artistic ability and styles got thrown in there for variation, but it's definitely one of those things that I need to go hiking.
Yes. I'm not hiking up. I'm going to hire a helicopter.
Now, why would you do that if they're shutting down electronics before they invite anybody in?
I don't worry. That's what parachutes were invented for. But I think helicopters are very good things to parachute it in case the blades get to you, you know. But
you don't want to be parachuting out of a helicopter? What are you talking about?
You can do it. You can parachute a helicopter as long as it's stationary. You know, it's not moving. It's fine. But here's an interesting fact, right? People were like, oh, there's no a city underneath the mountain. Oh, these things don't exist. These don't exist. Look, 20 years ago, right? UFOs, if you've seen a UFO, you were marked as a mad or raving lunatic. If you talked about aliens, you were marked as a mad, raving lunatic. Look at it now. It's on CNN, it's on BBC News. The US military have had them above their ships. They've been chasing after them in the Atlantic and stuff like that. I mean, it's getting or the Pacific, and it's coming out now, and they're taking it seriously. I mean, you go into like Sky TV, Discovery Channel, History Channel. That's all you're getting right now. Is UFOs are the real. UFOs this, UFOs that, hunting Bigfoot, ghost hunting. Right? People are taking this serious, guys. Something is going on with that mountain. Here's a question for you. I've never actually researched Dakota. What about the native Indians to that area? Have they ever reported anything? Maybe going back to like the 1800s or the 1700s? Because again,
it's not just Mount Shasta. There are.
I know there's other mountains. Yeah,
it's all over. It's indigenous tribes all over talk about sky people. When it comes to things like Bigfoot, Wendigo, Dogman, any creature that allegedly has some sort of humanoid form and comes out of the woods, they recognize as slightly something else. They recognize them as forest guardians. And to this day, chances are, if you're in a territory that's known for Bigfoot sightings, they'll usually leave you alone. But if you start messing around, they'll come for you. Ask Mike the Naked Bigfoot.
Yes.
He's pissed off a group.
He's Mike's pissed. But he's a great guy. You know, I would forgive him if I was Bigfoot. I would forgive him. You know, because I think he's just brilliant. He's actually bringing out his book. When is his book coming out?
Yeah, he was saying on the last show we did that he has a book coming out in March that I will definitely be buying a copy of because that man has some serious stories.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that book coming out.
And I'll admit that, you know, chances are a lot of us would probably consider Skunk Ape more towards Georgia, Florida area, but
I'd bring that up there.
I'll admit some of Mike's stories I would be skeptical of had we not. To be completely honest, it's kind of scary.
It's actually quite weird that because when you started talking about Mike there, you started breaking up.
Well, you also got to remember, there's also been incidents where we're almost coming up on the year anniversary of this incident. Drew would know, and if Sherry pops in, she'll know as well. Where not too long after this incident took place, we had Mike on with our previous employer,
Yes.
And all of a sudden, he had voices coming through mentioning my name. Sherry, I know Sherry mentioned she heard it too. And there's been times where Mike's attachments, they get nervous around me.
Yeah. It makes you wonder, what are they picking up on? Are they picking up on the alien entities? Are they picking up on the other entities, which I'm not going to mention their name? We know who he is. We don't talk about that. This is not a ghost show. This is more UFO based. But you know what I'm saying. You know, it could have something to do with it. But I mean, when are you going up the mountain, Dakota? When are you going?
Let me pound out some of financial situation and I'll give you a more accurate answer.
You know, I mean, what do you think, guys, in the chat? What do you think about Mount Shasta? I mean, no, just Mount Shasta. What about Table Mountain in the United States?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that's one of the most strangest looking mountains I've ever seen in my life. I mean, I think there's a lot of hidden things in this world. And I think you need to be awoke to see it more.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm trying to say, Dakota? I think once there's one of the things in the chat there.
Oh, damn Spatbots.
There you go.
YouTube's all damn determined to block YouTube instances, so they won't take care of that crap.
Yeah, I know. But I dealt with that swiftly and severely. I deleted it. You know, the quick hand. And for using the YouTube and the podcast community, we were deleting bots that come in and annoy everybody. So, what else have you got about abductions, Dakota? I couldn't help myself, guys. I had to say that. You know.
Yeah, you gotta go for abductions, but
no, I had to go for it. Man.
You're one to talk. You're one to go into that lady that was preaching that the Greys were good guys, aren't you?
No. I mean,
we're working way too much with each other if we're picking up on each other like that.
Yeah, I mean I was watching a show through the week there, and I'm not mentioning the show, and they were talking about the Greys are good guys. No, they're no good guys. The Greys aren't good. Yes, there's one species, Dakota. Can you fill me in? There's one species of good guys, Greys.
This is one of those things where even our friend Elena Denon, she talks about it all the time, where we have to really be careful about what we judge because, I'll be honest, as some of the people that are a little bit more open-minded about the ET approach, their tendency to get tense around the subject kind of reveals that they may be dispositioned in a biased sort of way. Yeah. And that is something we really got to be careful with because not all of the tall blondes are going to be good guys. Not all of the Greys are bad guys. There's one species in particular that according to the lore around them, once again, they help start all the federations of light that want to try to help us out. But a majority of the Greys, a lot of them are clone species. Yes. They might actually be biological androids. Yes. And they're damned to determine for enslavement. Yeah,
their thinking of the Earth is what happened is 1940s, 1950s. What they think happened is, I'm just going with what they think because I don't want to put this as, fact. Something happened, the aliens came down, the Greys, and the government made a deal with them, right? And basically, they says to them, the Greys went, listen, we need to do some experiments on humans, but you need technology. So that's what they've been doing. They've been basically giving certain governments of the world, which I'm not going to mention, technology. But technology to them is like maybe a musket, right? To them, something that's maybe like 1 million years old in their technology, they're giving to us, right? And we're like, oh, that's amazing. But to them, that's nothing, right? Mm-hmm. No, it's like, and they were like, I no bother, you can abduct a certain amount of people you want as long as you give us technology, like computer technology, right? But what's happened is the good aliens, the Galactic Federation, right? They've came and they've tried to free us multiple times, guys. And I think it's just about worked this time. It's just about worked this time, including all the reports that's out in the internet of the UFOs, right? But there is still the greys that linger, and they are evil. They're very evil.
Mm-hmm.
And it's hard for me to watch like a show like I did the other day, and the woman was like, yes, the alien came and took me away and they branded me. But then they made a deal with them to basically try and help the Earth, but they want to colonise the Earth in their image and stuff. Guys, listen to me. Aliens, good aliens, would not come and brand you, right? They might take you away and put an implant in you or something like that, but they're not for their own kind of to help you, but they don't. This is the crazy thing, right? This is the crazy thing. There is good entities in this universe, right? But then there's evil entities. Us on Earth, there's good humans, but there's evil ones, right? You know? What's your thoughts, Dakota?
You definitely were starting to step into more controversial territory, but
yeah,
it is also said that the Federation got a hold of certain branches of our militaries, started giving us weapons as well to try to even the playing field a little bit.
Yeah.
It's like, I believe it was the Greys got the Air Force, the Federation got the Navy. Here in the U.S., it's slightly different for each country, but nevertheless, you got to admit, whether it's ghosts, demons, angels, UFOs, aliens, things are getting hot. Oh, yeah. And there's things coming out that have possibly never seen since biblical times. Which makes you wonder.
Yeah. I think
what's happening.
I think there's got to be a UFO event soon, guys. And see all this TV stuff, the news talking about it, Discovery Channel talking about it, History Channel. This is them preparing you guys. You must understand that this is them preparing you for that day, because it's going to happen. Something's going to happen. I'm not going to say they're going to land in the White House lawn and come out and want to speak to the president. I don't think it's going to work that way. I think other things are going to happen. I think they're going to try and pull something off our glorious governments of the world just to do something. And I think this is we are on the precipice. We are on the precipice of something UFO in the next 5 years. No, even 5 years. In the next 2 years or even 1 year. This year something big's meant to happen in the UFO community. I mean, Shrimp Shack, welcome, welcome.
Great.
What?
What's up?
No, I was going to say, you went all quiet.
What was that?
You went all quiet there. I says, I'm handing the show over to you because I was waiting for you to like join in the japing.
I agree. And I was just going to say, our good friend AJ Booker, you saw him as the professor when we did the Halloween special.
Yes.
He and I, we work on the side for a lot of projects. We have something big coming up later in the year that I don't think I should probably reveal too much about right now. But I do know he is looking into a bit of an experiment tomorrow, for at least for UK time.
Yeah.
That he fully believes that may be able to contact some sort of civilization. He was giving me details that he keeps hearing a certain frequency.
See, this is the thing. That a lot of people have been reporting this, and we're going to be bringing this in too, guys. We've got to be talking about contact with SETI and stuff. But when you go,
no, this is going to be our segue. So yeah. Now, I pause right there because there was key words. Certain frequencies. Sound familiar, ladies and gentlemen?
Yes.
That he is going to try to isolate and place something back to establish contact I honestly really hope to see what happens with this little experiment. I'm putting together something very similar that I'm going to try to put out in the next week. But I can help but stop and think, like, wait a sec. There's been times where I'm just trying to sit back. We're doing our regular thing. And I think it was actually on the last show that we did where all of a sudden tones that sound awful lot like the CE5 tones.
Yes.
They're coming out of nowhere.
Yes.
And the reason why we say this is that some of the things have been coming through with our contact experiments. When you think about it, a lot of these facilities, they're looking for radio transmissions. In fact, there was an article not too long ago. I didn't have a chance to really dig into it. And no, it's not the ones where they found out it's just them fucking up. But there's more radio signals coming out that they're concerned about. You have the WOW signal from the 1970s, if I remember correctly, which was just a few months after the Verlawn television hijacking back in the 1970s in South London. It was just a few months off from that. Basically, what they're saying is that we're looking at too archaic of technology. We're looking for too archaic of signals to be able to see what's actually going on. They found something else out. Something about the CE5 tones is how they actually do it. Somehow it moves quicker. Possibly has something to do with psychic ability. Obviously, in order to be able to test these to the satisfaction of the scientific method involves things that are technically considered torture. I mean, let's explain
it. Let's explain it for the people that's listening and watching this now. We are searching the solar system for the same type of radio transmissions that we've been putting out for about 100 years, right?
Yeah.
We're listening for radio frequencies. But you've got to remember, these aliens, right? Some of these races are like millions of years old, right? They don't use radio transmitters. They do not use radio transmitters, right? They use tones and sublight tones. This is how they do it, right? We need to start thinking, right? There's a race out there, somewhere in the cosmos. They're probably highly advanced. Let's contact them how they would try and contact us using advanced technology instead of using like a CB radio.
Well, here's the thing. And you can look at it with a lot of potential ET research. And Drew, I don't know if that's something you should necessarily be laughing at because they consider sexual assault highly drugging people. What was the name of it? Stranger Things was based on it.
I haven't watched Stranger Things yet. What is it?
No. Anyway, basically there was a lot of absolutely diabolical experiments that governments have done on people in order to try to bring out psychic ability. And it's some of the stuff we know about is just...
Yeah.
Anyway, but a lot, as I was saying, with a lot of ET things, when you really look at it, they're looking at essentially us. We're looking for other civilizations at the exact same point in time, exact same point in development as us. But time in itself, when it flows through space, is a very liquid. It bends around it's the most basic way of showcasing relativity. It bends across any sort of planets. Anything it comes across, it bends. Even us just wailing our arms around like an idiot, that actually bends time.
Yes,
our emotions bend time. So, yes, there could be civilizations that are thousands of years more advanced than us, but because of how time moves through space, they could be several, thousands of years old. And when it comes to these tones, some thoughts that Sherry came through when she was under one of her trances just reminded me, plants, animals, even humans, we have specific frequencies that can be amplified and register. Planets give off similar tones. So who's to say that a technologically advanced civilization that wants to try to want to try to include nature into their technology, they haven't figured out a way to say, ooh, we can do this with it. I know there's one guy on TikTok who actually runs his guitar through fruit, and some of the sounds he gets from that,
Yeah.
wow.
I mean, this is what people don't realise, right? Look, I've got to bring a couple of points up here. Let's take plants. People have known if you play certain tones to plants, some will die. For some weird reason, they'll have plenty of sun, they'll have nice soil, they'll have plenty of water, but they'll die. Whereas they play different tones, they'll flourish, they'll grow, they'll get stronger. Let's take the moon. No, let's take the moon. The sun. Suns, astronomers, right? They see suns. Suns put out tones, right? But what I'm going to say here is, right, see if you're in a space, right? Let's say we're in a spaceship right now, right? Say Dakota's on the Earth and I'm in a spaceship, right? And I'm flying at the speed of light, right? So an hour, 2 hours will go over for me, right? 2 hours, I'll be sitting there drinking my tea or whatever in my spaceship or whatever it does, right? I'll be sitting there, 2 hours will pass for me, right? But see on Earth, 100 years will pass. Right? This is the problem. You think about it. What would you say was the nearest? Is it Alpha Centauri? What's the nearest livable planet they say that's near here meant to be? That they've disclosed.
I believe that there is some planets around Alpha Centauri, and there's some ET files that say there's something there. But I believe one of the closest ones is Alpha Centauri that we could potentially live on.
Sure, right. So here's the problem, right? In our fastest ship, that's what was that, the Apollo rocket. The Apollo rocket was one of our fastest ships, right? Flying towards that would take something like 5,000 years to get there, right? Right. But by the time we got there, it'd be too late. The race could have died out. There could have been wars. There could have. This is the problem. This is the problem. We need to try and. This is why I think tones, right? I think tones are different. I don't think they get affected by time the same as the light. What do you think?
Well, here's a thought. Let's take the Pleiades, because there are several ancient civilizations that point to the Pleiades star system as being our true origin. Say like the Mayan civilization, a lot of the descendants that are still around say their civilization didn't die off.
Yeah.
They went home, and that's where they went. There's the Dogon tribe out of Africa who knew that there were certain things around there, even before modern astronomy managed to record it. How the heck does a tribe that still do funny dances with sticks and loincloths know about that?
Yeah. Because something maybe visited them.
Exactly.
Or they've had some type of spiritual, astral projection. You know what I mean? They've maybe, you know what tribe people are like. They take their special bongo juice or whatever it is, and then they go and astral travel, right? Maybe they've astral travelled, right? And they found this out through astral travel.
Well, that's one idea that I was going to say. There's also, and this is actually something that comes from one of the head guys from Lockheed Skunk Works, which does a lot of government contracts in developing aircraft. At a conference, this was talked about in one of Stephen Greer's documentaries, where the guy jokes, we now have the technology to take ET home.
Yes.
How he says that's possible is that all points in time and space are connected. There's a quantum entanglement. And sometimes, and like you said with plants, animals have been known to do it too. There's actually medical treatments that are trying to be developed using just certain frequencies.
Yes.
Right? This is what I'm trying to alliterate. This is not just a couple of conspiracy nuts spitting out random stuff. There's actual backing to everything we're saying. And sometimes, and when you look at identical twins or even people who just have really close personal relationships, how do you explain someone getting the urge to give someone a phone call right as they're having a mental breakdown?
Yeah. Exactly. Exactly. And how do you explain the ones where one is, say, they're twins, maybe been in an accident, and they've went, something's happened, and yes, something has happened. Tones have been also proven to make clean energy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, let's take fusion power, right? Fusion is hotter than the sun, right? But they found that by using tones in the fusion, it's burning longer. It's tones. I've heard the tones with the medical thing. That's quite a big thing. The tones with the medical thing. They actually predict that one day there'll be machines that fully autonomous that you'll be able to climb inside, and it'll be able to heal you just by using certain tones. There you go. You know. But look at that. That's crazy. It's amazing where time goes. We've got 20 minutes left of the show. Talking about shows and stuff. Did you see any good documentaries last night, Dakota?
Well, I wish I could sit down. Say I was able to sit down, but I was on my way out to work, and my mother was watching this. I believe it was on Hulu about Project Bluebeam, and I found it kind of interesting because I remember seeing something about someone trying to organize a protest at Chicago O'Hare Airport due to a massive UFO sighting that took place there, which it's kind of scary when you think about it, because allegedly Mothman's been hanging out around there as well.
Really? Is that where Mothman? It's weird you should talk about that, because I was watching a documentary last night on Mothman and about the bridge that collapsed, and you know.
Yeah, Point Pleasant, Virginia.
Yes, and also there was sightings in Japan just before the tsunamis, this flying creature.
There's been very similar reports to Mothman around a lot of major disasters. And, it's funny that we bring that up, because next week on Contact, we do have the Mothman lady herself, Ashley Hill, coming on to talk with us finally. Yes. Hopefully she doesn't get the times mixed up again. Oh, knock on wood.
I touch wood. I feel
and I do know that she was. We should ask her how that Mothman documentary is going that she said she was working on.
Yeah.
Anyway, but maybe she could give us advice on something we've been talking about.
I mean, we talk about a lot of stuff, guys. You should see behind the scenes of Bald and Bonkers Network. We talk a lot about stuff, but then there's things we talk about that are actually happening.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, why don't you fill some people in the chat about that? But without obviously going too far, we don't want to tell them too much, cause then.
Well, yeah, we don't want to tell too much, being that we're still trying to figure out all the details ourselves. But we got to thinking, there's a lot going on when it comes to UFOs, and there's a lot that we've had go on here.
Yeah.
We should probably try to do some sort of special project to talk into it a bit more,
Well,
try to get some people to tell their story, maybe help some people out along the way. Maybe invite some of our friends to join us,
I mean, there's actually one of them's in the chat tonight that might even be joining us, I mean, it's a bit prepared to see what one that is, obviously, that's...
she might... she might...
You should have said
she, maybe. She, he, whatever. I don't know. I try not to misgender people.
But I think what we've got to be doing is got to be amazing. I mean, this is nothing small. We'll just let the internet community try and all our friends on YouTube and that figure out what we're up to, right? But if we pull this off, it'll change things.
Big time.
Oh yeah, but I mean, because it's not just that we'll be getting to meet people that are so important, so in the UFO community, and in places like that,
Mm-hmm.
So what's any other news, Dakota? What about new shows that are coming?
Yes, and hopefully she's still around, because she just likes to disappear on us when you start getting into the good stuff, I've noticed.
I know.
You think we should play the trailer one more time?
Play the trailer for The Lost Magics.
Yes, starring our dear friends Drew and Sherry. Yes. Where are you at? There you are. Okay.
through earth, wind, and fire. It is here you will find the answers which you desire. Lord, now we are waiting in shadow. For your truth we see within thy letters, despite what many have thought to seek. The truth will always reach. Lord, now for the Bible, the lost magic may it arrive.
Coming this Friday.
I would just like to actually say, who did you get to do the voice for the Lost Magics?
That's me, dude.
Oh, there you know, guys. You know, but look, she's in the chat. She's actually been watching us.
Oh, she's actually paying attention?
She's paying attention, Drew.
Oh my God, mark this day on the calendar.
So, do you have any other news that's coming up?
Well, I would just like to say that for the Lost Magics will be available on the podcast, but due to the fact that the one who's actually technologically savvy in this group is going to be heading out of town for the weekend a little bit to attend a Gabriel Iglesias concert, there might be a slight delay in getting the audio version of the show up. So do bear with us. Yeah, it's a birthday gift. You know, my birthday's coming up on this Wednesday, so my mother's taking me out to a nice concert.
No, honestly, I think you look very young for being 50. You know, I mean, it's. I'm sorry, he's only 20. I'm sorry.
I'm only turning 26. You. That's that. Apparently, when he and I first met, he thought I was older than him, and he's 40.
Terrible. I would just like to say a thank you to friends on YouTube that will be coming on as a guest next Saturday, not this Saturday, but next Saturday, and they're called the Smith Paranormal. See that link there, guys? Could you go and subscribe to their channel? It was actually New Year's Day. I entered one of the prizes, and I won a prize from them. I won crystals and I won sense sticks. My God, there was smoke everywhere in here. It was lovely. I was floating about, you know, and honestly, I would like to say thank you to the Smith Paranormal for that prize because it was absolutely amazing. But please, guys, could you go and give Smith Paranormal a subscribe? You know?
Yeah.
It's Smith Family Paranormal. There you go. If I get that wrong, you know. So please give that a subscribe, guys. It's in the chat. Thanks.
All right.
Oh, there's Drew saying keep getting dragged away, but to research, guys, I promise. And enjoy your concert, Dakota.
Oh, well, thank you, Drew.
You know, as long as it's not a YMCA concert, everything will be fine.
No, it's stand-up comedy, mother. I'm going to be coming back to Glasgow and just...
I'm not in Glasgow. I'm outside Glasgow. I'm about 30 miles from the...
Yeah, Drew already said she'd be willing to slap you upside the head for me.
But anyway, Dakota, do we have anything else, like a trailer or that to play? Or do we have anything else?
No, I do. No, nothing too special yet. I think we'll have to get ready to close the show. Yeah. But we do have a little something to close the show in style now.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
Guys. And thank you.
Be careful. Stay safe out there. Stay warm. Much love. And we'll see you this Friday.
And see you Saturday.